Welcome back to Ghost Powered Entertainment. I'm your host, Candyman Becker, and today we talk about 10 action-packed movies right now on Tubi. So I'm a big fan of action-packed horror movies, ones that are horror or at least have a lot of horror in them, but they're definitely action as well. You know, lots of shooting, fighting, explosions, you name it, just action-packed. So I thought it would be a good time to give you guys some exciting action-packed movies that you can watch for free right now on Tubi. So with that, let's get to this list. So starting off this list is a movie that I feel like doesn't get enough credit and has kind of been forgotten in a way by time, and that would be the film Spawn.
From man to spawn.
Peekaboo. I see you.
I love this movie, okay? Granted, the CGI has not aged well at all. There's some really hard to watch, cringeworthy CGI in this movie. But in general, it has that Spawn vibe, that darkness, that energy, that evil creepiness. And John Leguizamo is amazing in this movie as that fat clown dude. I mean, just skin crawling gross, but just a lot of fun. And this is definitely an action-packed movie, but it has plenty of horror packed in there as well. So if you've never seen Spawn, it does have flaws, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a lot of fun and definitely worth your time. So if you've never seen it, definitely go and check it out right now on Tubi. So next up is House of Wax, and this would be the 2005 version.
You're saying that that's a real person underneath?
First off, I love the original 1950s Vincent Price. Like, that movie is brilliant. I think it's 1950s. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I love that version. That movie is a classic, okay? And this is not those things, okay? This is early 2000s shit. This is early 2000s where it's just that shitty, cheesy teenagers, bad dialogue, just stupid stuff, but there's still charm to it. And I don't know about you, but I love this era still. Even though it is cringeworthy, there's a lot of bad in it. I mean, trust me, even my favorites have a lot of bad in them. But this movie still has some extremely creepy scenes, some skin-crawling stuff, some gore. There's definitely plenty here. If you're a fan of movies like Wrong Turn that were from that same era, or I Know What You Did Last Summer that were from that same era, and you like those movies, and you've never seen this House of Wax, then you definitely should check it out, because it does have all that crappy early 2000s garbage, but it does also still really go for it in a lot of ways, and all in all, Paris Hilton gets killed in it. Next up, I go to one that you're probably not going to get, probably going to get some flack for this, but it's one of my favorites from when I was a teenager. Man, I loved this movie. I watched this movie over and over and over, and I know it's really not probably a horror movie, but I think it has enough that I decided to put it on this list, and that is the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, Hard Target.
He's an annoying little fucking insect and I want him stepped on hard.
And with movies like The Hunt that came out last year, where it's the elite hunting these poor people or whatever, this movie fits right in that. And I thought, since people did consider The Hunt horror, or at least horror adjacent enough, that I thought Hard Target fits right in there. But it's mostly just an action movie, but it does have the horrific element of people hunting a human being. And it does have that scary at night, running in the dark, trying to escape, trying to hide, like all that kind of stuff, and seeing poor victims who are not Jean-Claude Van Damme get shot and killed and whatever. If you're looking for a movie, not necessarily John Wick level, but that does have a lot of fighting and action scenes like a John Wick, then I definitely recommend you check this film out. Next up was a surprise that I'd heard about for a while and I had never checked it out, and that is Hobo with a Shotgun. And I will say, God damn! I'll double it down and say, goddamn, this movie is brilliant, man. It is insane, bonkers, but oh my god, do I love this movie. If you're a fan of movies like Turbo Kid, which I'm a huge fan of, then you have to watch Hobo with a Shotgun. It's done on a shoestring budget like Turbo Kid was. It's done with a lot of actors that you will not recognize, but it doesn't matter. This movie just goes for it in every way you can possibly imagine. The gore, the just crazy scenes, the fight scenes, the premise of what is going on. I don't want to give anything away, but trust me when I say, if you love gore and you like crazy action / gory horror movies, definitely watch Hobo with a Shotgun. Next is another one of my all-time favorites, and that is The Ninth Gate.
The Nine Gates is the Kingdom of Shadows, a book reputed to have been written by Satan himself.
I want you to go to Europe. I want you to get it for me.
You mean the devil won't show up?
And this one is less action-packed than some of the other ones I've given, but it does still have some really cool action scenes in it. It's more of like an Indiana Jones adventure, trying to figure out this book situation and this evil stuff that's going on to Johnny Depp, and he's just trying to solve this mystery basically and trying to track down this book, and it just gets all crazy and it's hard to even explain, but it is a really good movie. If you're a fan of Johnny Depp and you've never seen this, watch it. If you're a fan of movies like Indiana Jones or Da Vinci Code or any mystery, that type of movie, then definitely watch it. If you just like crazy, evil, demented, satanic cult weird shit, watch it. I mean, it's a really well acted, really well directed, just a really good movie that is not talked about nearly enough. And so because of that, I highly recommend you giving it a look. All right, now we go to The Machine Girl, which I just did a review last week. So if you want to hear more about it, go check out my review up here somewhere. Go check out the review I did of it. It's just another one of those movies like Hobo with a Shotgun that's just insane, way over the top, gory, just fun, not really much in the way of story or dialogue, but just a lot of fun and crazy scenes. It's definitely one that if you want something fun that's just a lot of action, but mostly just for fun and not anything serious, then definitely check out The Machine Girl. So now we go to another one of those early 2000 movies that has a lot of the bad acting, the really over-the-top script, especially when it comes to teenagers. And I don't know what the deal was with the early 2000s and the way dialogue was written for teenagers. It's just always so bad. But anyway, this movie still to me has a lot of charm, and that is 13 Ghosts.
Most of them, they can't hurt us. Most of them don't even want to hurt us. But there are exceptions.
And I love this movie. Granted, there's a lot of bad in here. Mostly the dialogue is not good, and then the script has got a lot of holes, and it's really diluted and just strange. But the saving grace for this movie, and I think most people can agree with this, is the ghost. They are amazing. I mean, everything from Juggernaut to the guy with all the spikes out of him. I mean, just the kid even with the arrow through his head, just creepy. Like, these ghosts are just badass, and the building itself is badass. All the glass windows, the whole house is glass. Like, I just love the look of it, and the fact that that's a real house. They actually built it. This is not like some CGI situation or faked out. Like, they literally went and built this glass house. Like, I mean, I love that. I think that is so cool. And if you ever get a chance to watch some behind the scenes stuff, it's so fun to watch because they use the way they use lighting, because it reflected off of all these surfaces. The way they had to use lighting and all these different tricks to get this to work was just so cool. Anyway, if you've never seen 13th Ghost, remember going in that it's got a lot of bad acting, not the greatest script. There are some cool things about the script, but for the most part, you're here for one thing, and that's these crazy, insane ghosts with awesome costumes, crazy cool gore, one kill scene that is definitely memorable. It's just a fun movie that I recommend. Next up is Pumpkinhead.
What do you want, Ed Hardy? Say it. You're looking for vengeance, vengeance.
I have recommended this movie over and over and over because I love it so much. I don't understand why people talk crap about it, because to me it's just brilliant. I mean, I love the acting, I love the whole concept, the story of this is just absolutely brilliant. It's one of the more unique stories of a horror movie in my opinion. But the way the Pumpkinhead looks is just amazing. Like, I love the costume, that prosthetic design. Like, it's an animatronic, I believe, and it's just amazing. Like, I love this movie so much, and I always fight and defend it every time I hear people, trying to tear it down and be like, it's cheesy, whatever. Like, dude, you just don't get horror, in my opinion, because this movie, to me, my opinion, is just brilliant and one of my all-time favorite horror movies. All right, next is a movie that not a lot of people talk about. It's a movie from way back, but it's called Tank Girl.
She'll be fun to break.
I like pain.
This is not really a horror movie either, and it does have a lot of really bad in it too, but I think it's got enough kind of creepy horrorness, and it's that apocalypse world thing that, I don't know, I'm basically grandfathering it into my horror list, at least for today. But this is just a real funny, weird, fun, over-the-top, kind of strange, or not kind of, a lot strange movie. It's got that real weird apocalypse world thing to it. It's similar to a movie like Mad Max in a way, like it's very apocalyptic world, but much more cyberpunk. But early cyberpunk, because cyberpunk wasn't even really a thing yet. So it's kind of this punk rock meets retro meets apocalypse world, and it's just really crazy, really weird, a lot of stupid stuff, some really bad choices that I think this movie would have been a lot better if they hadn't put a few of these weird things in it that just kind of don't feel like it fits the movie. It's not like there's anything wrong with it, it's just kind of dumb. But in general, it's just a fun movie that I think is so colorful and creative and enjoyable on a light, fun, silly, stupid level. It's a movie that if you're a fan of movies like Turbo Kid, then I think you should definitely check it out. So now we go to the last pick of my list, and that is the OG, one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and that is The Candyman.
They whisper his name.
Right. Candyman.
It's just a story.
Candyman.
Candyman.
Just a ghost story.
Candyman.
And if you haven't seen this and you say you're a horror fan, shame on you! This is a rite of passage. Like, it's one of those, if you're a horror fan and you say you're a true blue horror fan, it should be on your Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of movies you've seen. This movie has everything. It has one of the greatest killers from any horror movie. It has really, really well done acting, really cool special effects, especially for when it was done. Just some really amazing, haunting, creepy imagery, like with the bees. Just so many scenes that are just haunting. And also, I believe there is the second and third Candyman, both available on Tubi as well, which those ones aren't as good as the original, really, at all, but they're still fun, especially the second. I think the second is worth watching. The third is where it really just takes a nosedive, and I think sadly that's kind of why we haven't seen more Candyman movies in the last 20 years. But the original is just an absolute classic that if you have never seen it, I'm just joking when I say shame on you, because we all gotta see it for the first time. We all gotta start somewhere from the beginning. But if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor and go watch Candyman. Alright guys, that is going to do it for me today. If you could do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel and when I post videos like this. And I try to post videos like this at least 2 times every week. And I also want to give a huge thank you to my patrons, because your support seriously means so much to me. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button, and remember guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.